storm set in your eyes, see the thorn twist in your side. I wait for you. Sleight of hand and twist of fate, on a bed of nails she makes me wait, and I wait without you.
Every breath you take and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you. Every smile you fake, every claim you stick, I'll be watching you. Every single day, and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
me what you want. Tell me what you want, tell me what you want. Anywhere to find you. Just to find it.
All the night is my world. City lights, painted girl. In a day, nothing matters. It's the night, time that flatters. In the night, no control. Through the wall, something's breaking. Wearing white. As you're walking down the street of my soul, you take my self-control. You got me living only for the night. Before the morning comes, the story's told. You take my self-control. I live among the creatures of the night. I haven't got the will to try and fight. I can't say no tomorrow, so I guess I just believe it that tomorrow never comes.
Take you to all four corners of the world. Every day, watch World Views on France 24 and France24.com.
You're watching live from Paris here on France 24. I'm Haxie Myers-Belkin. Our top stories today. Exit Angela Merkel, enter Olaf Scholz. The German parliament begins a symbolic vote to usher in the country's next chancellor and his left-wing coalition. Saudi Arabia insists France has the wrong man after police at Paris's Charles de Gaulle airport use a Turkish warrant to arrest a man suspected of involvement in the 2018 murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And during a tense 2-hour virtual meeting, US President Joe Biden warns Russian President Vladimir Putin to expect strong economic sanctions from the West if Russia chooses to attack neighbouring Ukraine. Great to have you with us. Also coming up, clocking off at a new time in the UAE, which is shifting this weekend to match the world's international finance. We'll have the details in our business update. And also coming up, a 3,500-year-old clay tablet containing one of the oldest pieces of literature in the world, the Epic of Gilgamesh, is back in Iraq after being looted and sent to the US during the chaos of the First Gulf War. The German Parliament this Wednesday is ushering in a new era in German politics as MPs begin the symbolic process of electing Olaf Scholz as the country's next chancellor, simultaneously bringing an end to Angela Merkel's 4 consecutive terms in office. Scholz and his Social Democrats came out on top in elections in September and soon formed a coalition with the Greens and also the Liberal Free Democrats. A little earlier we spoke to our Berlin correspondent Nick Spicer.
He's got an awful lot. Like every other leader in the world, he's got the pandemic to deal with, and Germany is in its fourth wave, and the big news is they're looking at making vaccinations mandatory, which is a bit controversial. Could happen as early, as February. But the 170-plus page coalition agreement is entitled Dare More Progress, so social democratic and green in large part, raising the minimum wage to 12 euros an hour, digitalizing the country, rolling back the coal usage in this country, making it disappear by 2030, making 80% of energy coming from renewables by 2030 as well, making it easier to become German. That's important for a lot of Turks who came over as guest workers before, legalizing marijuana, lowering the voting age to 16. So basically, making the country more progressive, if you will, more green, and also remaining competitive as well. That's one thing that the Free Democrats who are pro-business are really keen on. Their leader has the finance ministry. He's against tax and spend policies. So the big sort of balancing act in this new government is going to be how do you deliver on all these promises and not go into debt or borrow too much. That's really going to be the tightrope they're walking, as well as, of course, the pandemic, which is really challenge number one.
A Saudi national is in French custody, suspected of involvement in the gruesome killing of Saudi dissident Jamal Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in 2018. Khaled al-Otaibi was detained on the basis of a Turkish arrest warrant as he was boarding a flight from Paris to Riyadh. Saudi officials, meanwhile, are pleading a case of mistaken identity and are demanding his immediate release. Earlier, I asked our correspondent in Ankara, Jasper Mortimer, if the French did indeed have the right man.
I think it's highly possible, and it's a perfectly legitimate question to ask whether he is the right official, and it should be possible to answer. The Turks have many photographs of the Khaled al-Otaibi who killed Khashoggi. They have him arriving at Ataturk Airport in Istanbul to carry out the mission. They have him entering the Saudi consulate. They have him leaving the Saudi consulate. Now, once these pictures have been sent to Paris, it should be possible for the French to see whether they've got the right man or not.
Jamal Khashoggi's murder back in 2018 in Istanbul shocked the world. A look back now at what happened and the questions we still don't have answers to. Shirley Sitbon has more.
On October 2nd, 2018, Jamal Khashoggi was last seen entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. His fiancée waiting outside alerted authorities when he did not return. CCTV footage later showed a convoy arrived in the consulate before the journalist. 2 hours after he entered the building, it drove to the consul general's residence. 5 days later, Turkish authorities identified a Saudi team that arrived in Istanbul on the night before Khashoggi disappeared. October 11th, first mention of the audio recordings proving Khashoggi had been killed. Saudi authorities rejected what they called a baseless accusation, but under pressure, they eventually granted access to the consulate.
The investigation is looking into many things, such as toxic materials found in the consulate and those materials being painted over.
On October 18th, Riyadh admitted that Jamal Khashoggi had died in the consulate. After first claiming the journalist was killed in a fist fight with people he met there, Saudi authorities said it had been a rogue operation conducted by elements outside the Crown Prince's control. But at the UN, officials said evidence shows Mohammed bin Salman was likely involved in some way.
What I do have is evidence suggesting that the responsibilities of high-level officials may be engaged and therefore is requiring further investigation, in particular of the Crown Prince, for a variety of reasons. The first one is that the people directly implicated in the murder reported to him.
The Crown Prince has denied direct involvement. but did accept responsibility because the killing happened under his watch. Saudi justice convicted 8 people, sentencing 5 to death. Prosecutors let go the top advisors cited in the case, saying they lacked evidence. Those officials are among the 20 Saudis tried in absentia in Turkey.
US President Joe Biden has warned his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, that economic sanctions would be only a part of the West's response if Russia decides to invade neighbouring Ukraine. Putin, in turn, demanding legally binding guarantees that NATO would not expand eastwards. That testy exchange coming during a 2-hour-long virtual meeting between the two men, and as Russian troops continue amassing along the Ukrainian border. Here's US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
President Biden was direct and straightforward with President Putin, as he always is. He reiterated America's support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. He told President Putin directly that if Russia further invades Ukraine, the United States and our European allies would respond with strong economic measures. We would provide additional defensive materiel to the Ukrainians above and beyond that which we are already providing. And we would fortify our NATO allies on the eastern flank with additional capabilities in response to such an escalation.
There's no reason to believe that pre-existing COVID vaccines won't be effective against the Omicron variant of the virus, and the new strain doesn't appear to cause more severe illness than those that came before. Some reassuring words there from the second-in-command at the World Health Organization, as he urged people to seize the opportunity to be vaccinated where possible.
I would expect, quite frankly, that the vaccines we currently have will show efficacy against severe disease and hospitalization. But we have to measure that, and we have to confirm that that's the case, and we also have to confirm if there's any loss in that protection. But I would expect to see some protection there, and that's why it's so important that that's the best weapon we have right now, is to get vaccinated.
Meanwhile, some less reassuring findings from the Health Research Institute in South Africa, which has said the Omicron variant of COVID can partially evade the protection provided by 2 doses of the Pfizer jab. The study also showing, however, that blood from people who had received 2 doses and also had a prior infection were mostly able to neutralise the variant, suggesting that booster doses of the vaccine could help to fend off infection. Chile is now just a presidential signature away from legalising same-sex marriage after both the country's Senate and Chamber of Deputies gave the bill the green light. The legislation will also pave the way for same-sex couples to adopt children, making Chile just one of a handful of South American countries with such progressive legislation. James Vecina explains.
Cheers erupt inside the Chilean parliament as lawmakers approve same-sex marriage. First given the green light by the Senate, the lower chamber of deputies voted overwhelmingly for a change in the law, with 82 ballots cast in favour and 20 against.
It's a historic day, and it's the result of years of fighting and a lot of effort to not only change the law, but create cultural change too.
The bill was first presented to Congress back in 2017 by former President Michelle Bachelet. And while for the past 4 years it's been met with resistance from the ruling Conservative Party, the bill received a majority yes vote in every step of the process in an opposition-dominated Congress. President Sebastián Pinera, who'll leave office in March, is expected to sign it into law. Up until now, same-sex couples could register a civil partnership, but they'll now be able to marry and adopt children.
When the Taliban swept to power in Afghanistan in August, 3 young women fled for their lives. All 3 had played for the Herat women's football team, hardly a calling encouraged by the Islamist group. They eventually found themselves in Florence, Italy, where they're learning Italian, studying, and working hard to get back onto the pitch. Our correspondent in Italy, Natalia Mendoza, has the story.
At first sight, they look like any other athletes, and yet these 3 young sportswomen have been forced into anonymity. They are members of the Herat female football team from the west of Afghanistan, a team that has been targeted by the Taliban for several years.
سال 2017 اختیاری تئوری آمد که ما داخل فدراسیون بودیم. طالبا آورد اختیاری به ما داد که دخترها اجازه ندارم فوتبال کنم، حق ندارم دخترها از خانه بیرون شم، دیگه شما هم حق نداریم مربیگیری کنیم.
After the Taliban took control of Afghanistan last summer, they have had to flee the country with their coach. This morning, they're taking part in a friendly match in Rome to promote equality. They're hoping to raise awareness about the difficulties that women face in Afghanistan.
After the Taliban came, we couldn't play football, we couldn't study, we couldn't go anywhere. Some of our teammates are in Herat still, and always they told us, please help us to go anywhere, to go to outside Afghanistan.
Beyond the football pitch, they also give talks about their experiences, like this evening in Florence.
ترکیز وجود داشت و هیچ وقت به معنی واقعی کلمه آرامش و آزادی درک نکردم و افغانستان باقی ماندن. شاید ما وقتی بزرگ میشیم بتونیم دیگر از عهده خود بر بیاییم، اما بدون آغوش پدر و مادر.
Thought-provoking comments for some of the spectators.
Avere la consapevolezza di quello che succede, di quello che è realmente la solidarietà, la libertà è poter fare quello che il desiderio ci porta a fare, come per queste ragazze fare il calcio, insomma.
The three young women are in contact with the Italian Football Federation to be able to join a local team in the hope of continuing their sporting career in Italy.
And now it's being heralded by Iraqi authorities as a victory over those who tried to steal the country's history. A 3,500-year-old tablet featuring the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh has been revealed to the media in Baghdad 3 decades after it was taken illegally to the USA. The priceless artefact is believed to have been stolen from an Iraqi museum in the early 1990s when the country was caught up in the chaos of the First Gulf War.
لوح جلجامش سأعطي كلمة واحدة عنه وما يمكن أن يمثله لنا. نص يتحدث عن التمدين، عن إدخال البشر في الحضارة.
A reminder now of our top headlines today. Exit Angela Merkel, enter Olaf Scholz. The German parliament begins a symbolic vote to usher in the country's next chancellor and his left-wing coalition. Saudi Arabia insists France has the wrong man after police at Paris's Charles de Gaulle airport used a Turkish warrant to arrest a man suspected of involvement in the 2018 murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And during a tense 2-hour virtual meeting, US President Joe Biden warns Russian President Vladimir Putin to expect strong economic sanctions from the West if Russia chooses to attack neighbouring Ukraine. Time now for business, and for that I'm joined in the studio by Stephen Carroll. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Haxie.
We're starting with the latest troubles in the Chinese property market.
And we've got another name to add to that list of property developers in trouble in China. The Kaiser Group has suspended trading in its shares in Hong Kong today as it faces a deadline to repay $400 million worth of debt by tomorrow. The company said it was taking this step pending an announcement. Now, Kaiser is a much smaller player than Evergrande in the Chinese real estate market, but it does also have massive debt and, importantly, massive holdings of foreign debt. That has been enough to spook investors that it may not be able to meet its obligations. It's the second time the company has suspended trading in its shares in the last month.
And how are the markets reacting, Stephen?
Well, there have been worries over the Chinese property sector for quite a long time in the markets, and investors have been concerned about this issue for quite some time. Evergrande's shares tumbling to a record low again today. That's after it missed a deadline to repay foreign debt earlier in the week. We can see that weighing on the Hang Seng in Hong Kong, which is down slightly, whereas we're seeing gains on the other Asian markets in trading today. European shares starting the day mostly up, small gains in London and in Paris, just Frankfurt dipping into the red there at the start of trading.
Heading now to the United Arab Emirates, a big change there in the working week.
From January, the UAE will move to a Monday to Friday working week as opposed to its current Sunday to Thursday. The change will come into effect first in the public sector and in schools, with private sector employers left to make the changes that they see fit. It is a big change in the Gulf, though, with the goal of syncing up the UAE with other international business hubs. Selena Sykes has the story.
A change of routine in the United Arab Emirates. From the 1st of January, the oil-rich state will change its working week and move its weekend to Saturday and Sunday in a major shift aimed at improving competitiveness and work-life balance, a decision welcomed by many foreign workers.
I think we are in line with the international markets now, and being from the financial sector, it makes a difference because it gives you another day, to do the required tasks and stuff. So I think it's good from an international point of view.
Sync up time with our overseas client, customers and vendors has actually increased, so we welcome the change.
The move will see the UAE part ways with its neighbours in the Gulf, where the weekend begins on Friday, a holy day of worship in Islam. Instead, the country will shift to a 4.5-day working week, with activities ending at midday on Friday ahead of prayers. A decision which the government said will better align its economy with global markets.
This change will enhance the integration of the banking sector in the UAE with the banking community internationally. It will eliminate the gap that existed in the past.
Public companies and schools will follow the change, while private businesses will be free to choose their own working week. The switch is the latest of a series of measures to make the UAE more attractive to investment and foreign workers, who make up the majority of the population. Over the past year, the country has decriminalised the consumption of alcohol and premarital sexual relations, and has introduced a limited pathway to citizenship for foreigners.
And in the United States, Stephen, politicians making moves to avoid a government debt default once again.
The House of Representatives has approved a plan to raise the federal government's borrowing limit and dodge a default that could be catastrophic for the global economy. The bill can now be passed by a simple majority in the Senate, which should avoid long negotiations with Republicans. The party's leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, signalling the Republicans would facilitate the debt increase, saying that it's in the best interest of the country to avoid default. If passed, this would give the American government enough borrowing power to last until next November's midterm elections.
And a technical problem at Amazon has caused widespread disruption on the internet.
It's an outage at Amazon's web services that hid access to the company's own e-commerce website, but also to the likes of Disney Plus and Netflix, which were disrupted for several hours. Amazon says the problem was related to network devices and that service has now mostly been restored. But on social media, people reported problems not only with accessing certain websites, but also with security cameras and even robot vacuum cleaners that use Amazon's web services.
I think I'd quite like to see images of that, but I'll go onto the internet to find that. Finally from you, a red letter day for a Los Angeles landmark.
The red letters are coming down on the Staples Center in LA. It's part of a rebrand that was announced last month. It'll officially become the Crypto.com Arena on Christmas Day. The Associated Press reporting that the name change was part of a $700 million deal with the cryptocurrency website. The venue home to basketball teams like the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Sparks. I do wonder, will people still just automatically call it the Staples Center, even when it's changed name?
I can only assume they will, at least for a while.
At least for a while.
Stephen Carroll with the day's top business stories. Thank you very much. We're going to cross over the desk now, where Alison Sargent joins us for today's press review. Alison, we're starting once again in the UK. A growing scandal there over allegations the government at number 10 Downing Street held a Christmas party last year in the midst of very strict COVID restrictions in London.
These accusations, Hexie, have been circling around the press for a couple of days now, but the latest element adding fuel to the fire is a leaked video that was filmed last year. It shows Downing Street's press secretary joking about the party in a mock press conference. Now, Boris Johnson has repeatedly denied that any parties took place, which is why we read in The Guardian that the Prime Minister is now being accused of lying. Metro News, meanwhile, has dubbed them the number 10 party clowns. The paper writes that officials have tried to brand this party as a business meeting, but Metro points out that even a business meeting would have broken the rules at the time, which limited absolutely essential gatherings to 30 people, and there were reportedly 40 or 50 people at this Downing Street event. It is worth noting also that this is just one of several scandals that is currently plaguing the British government. That's after yesterday's claims from a whistleblower that the UK's chaotic evacuation of Afghanistan saw tens of thousands of Afghan allies left behind. In today's cartoon from Ben Jennings of The Guardian, we see an Afghan family waiting for an evacuation response from the UK. The dad there is saying, "All I had back was an automatic holiday reply from the Foreign Office."
Not a great few days for number 10 Downing Street, it has to be said. Moving now to Germany, the government there getting a fresh start imminently with Social Democrat Olaf Scholz set to take office very, very soon.
Yeah, and the tabloid Bild is wishing Scholz good luck for his first day on their front page. According to Bild, Scholz is a man who has never lacked confidence, even after he saw a series of electoral defeats back in the early 2000s. He reportedly told friends, "Don't worry, I'll be back," and he certainly turned out to be correct. This power handover is a very big deal since it ends the 16-year era of Angela Merkel. But is Germany really turning a page? Well, that's the question Der Tagesspiegel is asking today. The paper writes that there are actually many ways in which the two leaders really resemble each other. Their front page image sort of illustrates that point. Photos of the two leaders with their hands in very similar positions. France's Catholic paper La Croix also writes that Scholz is seeking continuity with Angela Merkel, at least when it comes to her style. But the paper warns that Scholz's government is planning a series of measures that are in conflict with French policy, notably when it comes to Europe, immigration, and renewable energy. And so La Croix is warning that France and Germany are really going to have to learn to compromise if they don't want to see Europe become paralyzed.
And some speculation in papers today that Macron and Scholz won't necessarily have to work together for too long because a new poll here in France shows the French President Macron losing next year's election.
Yes, it shows Macron losing to the newly designated right-wing candidate Valérie Pécresse. La Dépêche du Midi points out that it is actually the very first poll to actually show Macron losing this election. It shows Pécresse getting to the second round and then beating him 52 to 48%. The paper writes that Emmanuel Macron's team is actually starting to get really worried about Valérie Pécresse. Meanwhile, the Huffington Post calls this poll a mini earthquake. Still, the website does point out that it's pretty normal for a candidate to surge in the polls right after they've been nominated. That doesn't necessarily mean that this popularity is going to last for Pécresse. The Huffington Post actually quotes Pécresse herself, who said, "Polls come and go like the wagging of a dog's tail."
And also making headlines here in France today, Notre Dame Cathedral, church authorities set to announce new plans for renovating the landmark.
These plans are set to be announced on Thursday. They actually have to deal with renovating the inside of the cathedral, not the outer parts of it that were mainly the parts destroyed in the 2019 fire. As we read in Le Figaro, the plans have a number of historians and other political figures up in arms. 100 of them have signed an open letter in the paper. Now, they take issue with plans for movable benches, lights that would change with the seasons, and video projections on the walls of the cathedral, which would include Bible verses in different languages. According to the writers of this letter, these additions fall into a trend of trying to create accessible and immersive cultural experiences, but they say that they are foolish and kitschy and will ultimately ruin the cathedral's historic integrity.
Well, finally, from you, Alison, you have a pronunciation test for us based on this year's most mispronounced words on TV. I'm already a little bit scared. Tell us more.
Well, like I say, I already quizzed you last time on some of the main ones, but for any viewers who missed it, you can see some of those main words on the front on The Guardian today. These words are pronounced chuggy, the first one, a word used by Generation Z to describe sort of basic millennial aesthetic. The next one is Glasgow, not Glasgow, as Americans like me might want to say it. And then Eilish, as in the singer Billie Eilish. Now, another one people got wrong is the name of the new coronavirus variant. Do you want to give that one a try, Hexie?
Omicron.
Omicron, perfect. So Omicron is, the Guardian actually explains that there are two answers, and Omicron, strangely, is apparently the American pronunciation, although you were, of course, British. They say that the more British one would be Omicron, which I haven't heard a lot of people say, and I think maybe Greeks might actually take issue with both of these pronunciations. So the jury's kind of still out on Omicron, but Omicron is definitely safe. And then I also have a test for Steven, if you want one. Steven, can you name the cryptocurrency beginning with D that has a picture of a dog?
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Dogecoin is correct, and that's another word that a lot of people got wrong. So you guys are golden, and of course, it's worth noting that this list comes from American television. So I guess as France 24, we are a little bit better than the average.
As was Sergeant with a look through today's papers, also some quiz elements for me and Stephen. Thank you very much. Pleased that we didn't embarrass ourselves too much. Well, that's all we have time for right now. Stay tuned, though. There's more news coming up in just a few minutes' time. And also coming up in focus today, we're heading to Brussels, where efforts are underway to make the city's European quarter better integrated into the rest of the Belgian capital. Do stay tuned.
Climate change is forcing Senegal to revive its Great Green Wall project, on hold now for 15 years. The Pan-African Agency is in Louga in the northwest to talk to the people there.
Cet arbre dont ils ont besoin, ils vont s'en occuper, ils vont l'aimer, ils vont l'arroser.
Welcome everyone to Southern California. We're up in the hills about an hour or so northeast of downtown San Diego at Axel Hodges' compound here that he calls Slayground. It's X Games 2021.
X Games at Slayground. X Games at Slayground, yeah. 2021, we got all the moto events going out here at the Slayground. Super stoked. How's it feel to have all these guys out here? It's crazy. We've been working out here the last couple of weeks, and to finally have everyone out here doing crazy tricks is pretty sick to see.
Another double backflips again. 2 double backflips. Coming in hot.
Filling up the stat sheets and they knowing that's a plus. Back to back, I like plays. All my moves is tough. Watch them all die out. I've been killing with my looks. Feeling like a pro. I've been schooling all these rugs. They be betting all us calling plays out the books. Little bit of prayer, hard work. That's all it took. All I want. W's and bankrolls, that's all I want. All I want, that's all I want. W's and bankrolls, that's all I want.
You stoked? Yeah, absolutely epic. I didn't think I was going to get a podium, but it's a tough course out there. It is really tough, so it's easy to make mistakes, and like a lot of guys, dead sailors and stuff like that. So it's epic. I'll take it.
Congratulations, man. Thank you.
Get it.
Yeah, insane.
Where'd you come from?
Germany.
Came from Germany, got the gold medal. Must feel good, huh?
Yeah, it's insane. It's been a dream for so many years, and hard work pays off.
What about your 360s? Those things are pretty flat.
Yeah, I love flat 360s. I hate like doing fake 360s. That's why I always pull them like real hard. And I hope you like it.
Well, dude, congrats. You killed it, buddy.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
FMX, gold.
Those guys doing crazy double flip and front
We
flip.
just totally understood what you said. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So what about the freestyle whip setup?
The whip setup's dope. It's finally different. X Games has been the same for the last 17, 18 years. You have one lip and one landing. Now it's like, it's a double section. You have 120, you have the Aussie ramp, you have arm ramp, you have the short Levi ramp at 65 in the front. It's like a combo of everything, which you get to see overall of how good a person actually is, not just one jump. So I think with averaging both of those together, it's a totally different outcome for sure.
Then what's your role?
My role? I'm just here for moral support from my boys.
You talking shit?
Yeah, that's all I do. I'm really good at watch this fucker.
So taking a look at Tom Parsons here, who is going to start us off X Games 2021. We welcome in Josh Sheehan right here, a former freestyle gold medalist, Palmdale, California's Colby Raha. Got Jared McNeil there with 15 overall total medals. Well, the man of the hour, Axel Hodges. We're in his backyard, basically out here for X Games 2021 for all things Moto X. Let's see what he puts down here. 2019 Best Whip gold medalist. This is Tyler Berriman from just up the road out of Murrieta, California. Japanese rider in the lineup here, 31 years old out of Osaka. This is Genki Watanabe. It's all said and done. It looks like it's going to be Tom Parsons that walks out of here with that gold medal.
I was trying to mix it up, the variety, hit one of everything, but it is best whip, so dudes were throwing down, and psych for Tom. It's been a while. Dude's like 40, so congrats to Tom. Wanky crushing, Axel, thank you for everything. Insane setup. Stoked to be here, stoked to be back. COVID's over and we're back, baby. So we got one more, quarter pipe. Let's get it on.
All right, dude, were you happy?
Thank you so much, happy.
You done?
So stoked.
You partying?
For sure. Yeah, party never ends, buddy. Party never ends.
How old are you?
Top it's like
Same age as Twitch.
He's like 40.
Same age as Twitch.
This thing is about as heavy as how old he is. 40 pounds, 40 years old.
Dude, gold medal.
Dude, honestly, I thought Wanky won on the last one because it was so big. I was like, no way. Dude, I don't know. It's been a while since I've had one. And I was like telling them, I was like two X Games ago, I was riding with a thumb throttle, and I was like, I don't know. It's just, God, everybody, Axel, Wanky. I mean, everybody's so gnarly now. Like I watch those guys, and I'm like, am I even close? Like, I'm just thinking like, wow, I better do the biggest whip I've ever done in my life if I want a chance.
Well, you got it, dude.
I know. I can't believe it, dude.
I thought you were a one-time guy.
I am a 110 guy for fun, not for
Why are you out there?
Huh?
Why are you out there?
Because I'm gonna be 40 this year.
At least you get a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I ain't trying to relive a dream I lived a decade ago.
Official word, Axel Hodges wins gold.
First gold medal at the sleigh ground.
First gold medal on a 110.
Yeah, on a 110. What do you think about that?
It's unreal. I didn't know if I had that one in the bag. I saw Colby flip that jump on the last run. I was just gonna plan on cruise and save myself for quarter pipe, but got the bug and pulled a flip on that one. It felt good. And came out the gold medal. Cheater. Everyone else here was shredding. It was just fun to be able to come out, ride with my buddies.
You do a lot of crazy shit, Jacko.
I just enjoy it.
Like, do you enjoy it? Like, why are you so... You're sort of loose. Why are you so loose?
I think I just enjoy it. I just wait. I'm just so used to waking up scared. I used to pull a doona over my head when I got up and hide under there, but now I just get up and take it.
Of course, they can pick any obstacle they want or any ramp they want to use, so taking it with the double back. Oh. So here we go. He's underpowered. This is Jackson Strong.
Oh, hang on to her. Hang on to her. Yeah.
It's 2019.
Perfect, double back. It looked like a one-handed knack. There's Harry for you. That's the Harry we know.
Rob Adelberg, underpower here, first attempt out of 2.
Got to be a scary trick every time. I've said it before in the past. Front flips are very inconsistent.
And here we go with David Ronaldo.
Oh, no.
We're going to find out right now.
Oh, he lands it.
So the score comes in, he gets a 91.66. It's going to put him in podium contention. He'll have to settle for silver this time around. And that means Rob Adelberg is going to walk out of here with another best trick medal. And this one is going to be gold.
How many golds is that?
5, I think.
5.
Yeah, 5 in only a couple of years too. So it's kind of the start of some big things to come. I want to go double gold. So I've still got a few things to...
You hyped?
Yeah, I'm stoked now. I was pissed off with my bronze, so to get the gold...
Trip was worth it? 2-week quarantine for gold?
So for now I can have a little bit of a party while I'm here, and then I can do quarantine when I go home. So it's sick.
Like that.
Thanks for having me at the sleigh ground.
Next quarter pipe high air. X Games 2021 for all the Moto X events finds a new home here. We are at Axel Hodges' compound, known as the Sleigh Ground.
Yeah, what's up with it? Do it cause I love it and I stuck with it. We in with the subbing in the cut with it. Please none of the talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lies all the time. Stand on it, if we said it, we don't walk around it. Loose lips, sink ships, red cup, blue strips.
Hodges and Denny, this 1 and 2 and 3.
I guess Colby's not holding nothing back.
More attempt here for Axel Hodges. Can he get it done in his final attempt here?
Oh.
Look at the hang time. Wow.
He used up every inch of that landing. He definitely started pushing more and more. This was such a great event.
Yeah, that money talk. If we ain't cool, then cut me off. No breaking news, don't run your mouth. Thought it was the plug, now he...
Yeah, I think I kind of just like went hollow head. I kind of almost blacked out. Like, I don't even remember that last jump. I was so close to the bricks, but as soon as I left, I was like, oh man, this might be bad. But halfway through the peak of my air, I was like, oh, I think I'm good. But I was too close for comfort. But I'm just glad to get through it safe. Stoked on this. Stoked X Games is back. The setup was insane. And stoked to rip with all the boys.
First loser today. Colby got me, and it was a good contest. We're sending it higher than we've ever sent it, so we're pushing each other. I was figuring out stuff the whole contest. I'm just stoked. I was going higher and higher every time. Kind of learned today that I got to come into the thing faster and instead of slow, so I know what to work on for next time, and I know I'm going to be ready for the next comp for sure.
Thank you guys for having us. This was awesome. I'm glad COVID's a wrap and we can compete again. The event was rad. I'm stoked to get out of here safe. That shit's no joke. Gnarly. Props to everybody involved. Hodges and Bierman were sending it. All the guys were, and to pull off a win is huge, man. A lot of work. And stoked. Hopefully we get to compete more.
Strips, new phone, who this? No, we don't allow it.
What's going on, dude? Talk to me.
Double loop. Just trying to get a bit of practice in. We've had a bit of a long day, so just trying to finish on a good note.
How's California?
It's hot. It's, dude, some of the sickest dirt hits I've ever seen in my life. Vibes are here. It's all happening.
Any mutt?
Dude, COVID's restricting that hard. I'm blaming COVID on that one. I think that's why I'm lacking motivation, dude. I got nothing to show up in front of. Or get my shirt off for.
Right.
We are here in Sicilia, in Italy, for filming Mirador 2. The first Mirador was in Gran Canaria, and now we're here for filming the second one. It's gonna be sick. Can't wait for watching that. So many tricks with the heavy crew, Marek, Kevin, George, and yeah, I'm excited.
Filming the intro in the Etna volcano was pretty dope for me. The location is beautiful.
We're in Sicily, Italy, on a monster trip, trying to film this drone video. Just traveling around Italy. I wasn't with the other guys last year when they were filming this edit. But when I saw it last time, it looked really sick, so I wanted to be a part of this here and try to make a cool video.
Look. Flag. Go for it. Yeah, player. Wow. Line?
Sweet crook.
Oh.
No idea what the fuck is going on. One more. Nice one.
One more.
He said he needs to be more close, so we're gonna try one more.
He's Brazilian, dude.
Switch
Switch
crook.
crook.
Comes with the package, yeah. Comes with the package.
Yeah.
Wide shorts. Yeah.
Wide shorts. Switch crook. You made it. Yes. Okay, dude. So first. Let's see. One more day, one more tricks. Tricks.
Bing, bing. Bing, bang.
Yes.
Got it? Got it?
Yes. Man, that was perfect. I like it.
Cutting the sitting?
Yes.
Those are even better, huh?
It's way better.
Oh shit! I'm gonna fucking see shit.
It's a Rolomino grind. Hey.
Yes, Marek. Now with the flipping.
3, 2, 1, ya.
I'm finding the line how to enter. It is what it is. Line is always hard. You need to be at the right time with the drone, so it's kind of hard because we don't know where's the drone's gonna come. Yes. He got it. Oh shit. Oh my god. You see that? Yes. He got it, but let's see what's gonna happen. Let's watch the footage. When he landed the trick, the drone was like, oh shit, boom.
You went so good next to me, like so good. No, looks good. You fucking coming in so fast.
Yeah, there are.
And this is perfect, dude. Like perfect. Like you, like right next to me. You know, like right next.
Sick. First clip of the day. Let's go. That's how we work.
5 tries.
5
That's
tries.
how we do it, my G.
Oh my God! First tee. He did one more. He did one more. He did the first one, he's like, nah, I don't like it. One more.
Yeah, this one felt good, huh? Cinco ciao. Cinco ciao.
Damn.
First tee. First tee? Let's go to the boat. Darle Captaman.
Jack, real quick.
Yo, get it without
The captain of drone.
Maybe in the jump, you stay like behind him.
We try to like find like a good line, like a good angle for the drone. So he tried like a few times before start to film the trick, and then we have to find like the perfect time, like between the skaters and the drone, and try to make something like different from the normal camera. It's kind of hard because you know, like every trick, every line, so many tries, and the drone has to be like perfect every time.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to film with the drone because sometimes like the drone like kind of fucks up or hits you, or it's always different factors, but it works out in the end, but it's definitely a little bit more of a job to film with a drone than normal.
Yeah, the bump sucks. I can flick it good from this bump, huh? We're gonna do a collabo with Kevin. Kevin's gonna do only the bump over a 5-stair or 6-stair, super narrow. We're gonna bump the hill with him. Gonna look dope. Was good?
You feel like I am super close here?
No, sick. Hello, Gabriel. Good shit when the skater is the pilot, Maji. So sick, exactly. You know, we like.
Yeah, team.
Hell yeah, good job, team.
Boom. Hammers.
Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
Practice was going all right, like it was fine, but I had a moment where I was at the top. I was like, okay, I've landed my run like 4 to 5 times now. I was like, okay, I think I need to do another run. I remember feeling my board kind of like hit something going up the wall and just throw my line off completely. Next thing you know, slammed on the deck, dragged my face down the wall, had ice burn all over my face, and I was just crying because I was so bummed. Everyone was freaking out because it was a pretty heavy slam. I'm just really grateful I didn't land on my neck at all, but it was pretty close. The medical staff came in, grabbed me to take me to the tent to make sure I didn't get concussed or anything. The whole time I was like begging them, like asking if I can compete. I'm still going to compete. Like, can I please still compete? I got cleared, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to try. Like, nothing to lose at this point. I went back up on the sled, and it was my turn. I like just made it for my run.
Here's Chloe's final shot to leapfrog Kelly Clark for gold.
Backside air from Chloe Kim. So the switch backside 7 into switch backside 7 into a McTwist into a frontside 900. She's happy with it. Chloe Kim is your youngest gold medalist ever at an X Games winter event. Do you believe it?
I did not expect that I was going to win, but I just remember like having a gold medal around my neck and just being like so shocked. Being able to get back into that contest mentality after like burning my face off pretty much, I'm really proud of that. Shit, I might not even be able to do that again today. Like, you know, it was honestly one of the greatest moments of my career, I think.
Houston has made history. Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
It's a goal you set out from the time I was little. They could ask me, what do you want to be? World champion bull rider. That's all I ever wanted to be. Bull can take his tail and swish it up there and hit a fly off his back. He knows exactly where that guy is and where his weight shifted to. Them bulls will feel your weight get shifted to one side or the other, and they'll turn back away from you. They're a lot smarter than most people think. Each sport's different, dangerous in their own element, but I mean, it's man versus beast. Be a cowboy and don't let go. 2015 is kind of, all right, don't put no pressure on yourself, just go show them who you are.
One of the best we've ever seen in the sport.
Man, I was wearing them out. I explain it like a light switch. When that switch is on, you can't do any wrong. When that switch is off, you can't do any right. And the switch was on, and it led all the way to the finals.
No one seems to be more invincible than North Carolina's native son, J.D. Moore. 92 3/4. Say hello to your 2015 PBR World Champion.
Anytime you're over 90 points and you hit the ground and everybody in that building's standing up, they're clapping and cheering. When you step off and you look around and everybody's like that, boy, you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And like in 2015, when they hand you that gold buckle that says world champion, that you were the best bull rider in the world that year, it's all worth it.
Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
Monster can be very disruptive in its marketing and its culture. I thought, how cool would it be to be involved with the biggest sporting event of the year this side of the Super Bowl? It seemed like a really cool, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be part of something. It was the most intense and stressful 2 minutes of my life. If that horse had not have won, instead of talking to me right now, I'd be back in Alabama, driving a truck or something. It was just a very stressful day. It really turned out well because he won. He not only rode that horse to one of the greatest horse races in history, he delivered for us at Monster. When I look back on all of the performances they turned in over the years, Victor Espinoza and American Pharaoh's performance that day will always stick out in my mind as one of the best Monster performances ever.
Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
I think that was the best ride of my life. It was very early in the season that year, the Northern Hemisphere big wave season that hadn't really even started yet. Everything looked perfect with that swell, and it just turned on to be one of those really classic sessions at Jaws that I'll remember forever. It was in the evening, and I had already been out there for like 3 or 4 hours, and I can't forget it because I was out there by myself, and this really big set was coming in. I could hear whistles from the beach and whistles from the cliff and the boats and stuff, and like the first really big wave of the set just looked like a perfect one, and I felt like I was in the right spot, and I whipped it. It was really, really huge. I was pretty scared, but I kind of knew I was in the right place, and it was really glassy. It was really clean, and so I put my head down and just went for it and ended up catching the wave. As I was dropping in, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best wave of my life. It's the biggest, most perfect wave I've ever caught at Jaws by a mile, and I thought I just had it in the bag. And I hit that boil, almost fell, recovered my balance, made a little bottom turn, and the whole wave just set up on the reef perfectly. And time just slowed down, and this thing was barreling over me, and it was just an incredible experience. I just sort of was so shocked that I was really in control on a wave that big and that heavy that my arms just like naturally went out to the sides, to celebrate the moment. And then as soon as I did that, I realized, holy crap, this wave is so gnarly and so big and hollow. I better really get it together. And I felt like the wave was just about to spit. And so I just gripped my wax with my toes and put my arms back in and kind of braced myself for the bump and the spit. And then right then it just started spitting behind me, and I got spit out of the barrel into the channel. And just to get, that energy from everybody who was there for that swell and there for that session was super special. It's definitely something I'll never forget. That one's at the top of my stack of epic rides for sure.
Houston has made history. Kula Kai Ross hung up on Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
The inspiration for my world record flip was the allure of the triple digits, and it was highly inspired by Mike Metzger and his backflip over Caesar's Palace Fountain. Seeing what Metzger has done, I didn't think there was any reason why he couldn't flip 100 feet on a mountain bike. The flip is, man, if you don't pull hard enough, land on your front wheel and straight to your head. I mean, the whole danger of injury is always there, and that's just kind of a constant in our sport. But I think it's mainly the work and the pressure of how big of an extravaganza this was. I convinced them to let my friend Kyle Strait to be able to follow me on a GoPro and a gimbal to a live broadcast. So if I crashed, everyone came there to watch it. Everyone's watching live on TV. This was like the biggest event I've ever been a part of, because it was 100% devoted to me doing something. There's no one to come right after, There's no one before, there's no one after, no chance for a second run. It's like, do it now. Everyone said it made it look too easy, but that's the goal. But yeah, everything just kind of just blacked out. Like the proverbial zone. There's very few times in any athlete's life they really get to experience that, but that was definitely one of those moments to where everything just kind of, it's autopilot. My wife and my daughter waiting there for me, all my friends, and it's greatest feeling in the world. If I had to show anyone one thing that I've done to sum up how far I've come and and the opportunities I've been able to take advantage of, that definitely takes the cake.
Houston has made history. Kua Ty Roth hung up a... Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
So coming into 2014, winning the 9th consecutive X Games gold medal, the pressure to keep that streak alive in Austin, Texas was very intense.
11 career X Games BMX vert gold medals. That's the most of all time in this discipline, and he's got 8 in a row.
When I was on the top of the ramp, I can remember setting up for my first run. The PA announcer shouted out my name and just let everybody know that the 90 was at stake here tonight. You've got to somewhat push that aside and not let the magnitude of it consume you.
They're looking to make it 9, and here we go. Starts right out with a flare look down.
And for the most part, the run went as planned, except for when I landed heavy on this 540. Everything just went quiet. And before I knew it, I was upside down, couldn't see a thing, and I'm in the middle of a front flare. And I couldn't have landed it any better.
Oh, goes for the front flip flare, pulls it perfect, straight into a flare. Check this out, that's an opposite turn down flare, fast plant flare. Oh, my brain! Now, that was just unreal. That was epic.
It was like a dream, and as a competitor, these are the days that you live for.
For your 9th X Games in a row, Jamie Bestwick goes home with an X Games vert gold medal.
Probably one of my best competition runs ever. Those are the things I'll remember. Of course, the gold medals, they're always going to shine, but the riding will always be the brightest thing of all those 9 years. I just love to ride.
Unreal! That was Houston has made history. Kua Ty Roth hung up a... Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
Going into the 2020 season, no, I actually didn't really know the medal count. I was kind of just trying to have a different mindset than I usually do. Not being so attached to the result, being more in each moment and going with the flow of however I'm feeling. X Games was the first event I came to. It was really fun because they changed the format. It was a jam format, so we were going to get anywhere from 4 to 5 runs in like 30 minutes. And it just made the atmosphere of the event just what I was looking for. Fun, light, creative.
Switchback 5. Last run she did switchback 1 there, so upping the difficulty in run 2. Frontside 7. Hang on to it, Jamie. She does. Just able to bring it around for this last jump. Backside rodeo. Last run, it almost looked like she was going backside rodeo 7. Great run from Jamie Anderson.
I think after my second run, I ranked highest and then just kept kind of having fun and doing some different runs.
Look at our podium. Jamie Anderson earns her 6th X Games gold medal, the 17th of her career.
Yeah, after winning gold this year and hearing I was the most decorated female athlete, I honestly couldn't believe it. X Games is kind of where it all began for me when I was 13, just competing in border cross. And now being 29 and having 18 medals is just an honor, and I'm so grateful.
Houston has made history. Kua Ty Roth hung up a... Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500. Action is go here for X Games Aspen 2020 and the Real Cost Men's Ski Big Air Final. Henrik Harlow, that gentleman is chasing a record out here tonight, trying to surpass Tanner Hall for the most ski medals in X Games history. Can he take home another gold medal?
I was definitely aware of that if I would grab another medal, I would surpass Tanner's records for the most medals in skiing at X Games. But Definitely a little bit nervous.
Currently sitting in second place with a chance if he stays there.
You gotta have 5 tricks that are some of the best tricks you've ever done because of the level, how high it is right now. As soon as I step into my skis, I don't usually think so much about the danger. Once I'm clicked in, it's just all fun.
DC, you're right, double bio too. That's something he learned in the elimination round.
Forward double rodeo 1620 and do 2 flips and 4.5 rotation spins, so you land backwards again. And both those rotations are in a forward axis, so your feet are behind you and head first. I landed it perfect.
And then he's done it! He jumps up. Henry Carlo winning a 6 X Games gold medal, taking over the top spot from Tanner Hall, the winningest skier in X Games history.
For me to come out on top was unbelievable. Definitely have made it way further than I ever thought when I was a little kid in Sweden.
Unreal! That was Isaac Houston has made history. Kula Kai Roth hung up on
Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
Welcome to the Real Cost BMX Big Air Final.
There was a point where I didn't know if I was ever even going to get invited to X Games at all. The quarter pipe is definitely the most dangerous ramp we have in action sports as far as I am concerned. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the one opportunity I may ever have to win a gold medal at X Games. You know, there's no possible way I'm not going to try this trick. It had never been done before.
Again, just look at the concentration. I'm frightened to think about what James is going to try to throw into the mix here in this 4th and final run. However,
you know, in my mind, it was like, if I don't land this, I might die.
Here we go, James Foster, 4th and final run. Oh boy,
I think I'm the only person that landed a backflip triple tail whip over the mega ramp gap before it. They tend to value the quarter pipe much more than the jump because the risk is tremendously higher. You kind of have to watch it in slow motion to really tell. Do a bar spin, catch the bars. You know, the first 2 tail whips are at the peak, and then as you're falling, the 3rd tail whip comes around, catch the pedals, land rubber side down, ride away. You know, it worked. It was kind of a moment of shock to the stadium, obviously, because nobody knew I was going to do that. It had never been done before. Yeah, I was so excited. I just, picked my bike up, threw it as far as I could down the landing. It was one of the most meaningful things I've ever done. Life achievement, absolute.
Unreal! That was Isaac Houston has made history. Kula Kai Roth hung up on
Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500.
He was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma less than a year ago.
At first, it was a really, really huge shock for me because I've never missed a single contest in my entire career. And now the doctor was telling me, well, you won't be missing only one contest. You'll be missing the whole season because you have to start the treatments right away. Obviously, life is more important than snowboarding. So at that point, I had to put my snowboard away to face this battle.
Well, just 2